What is the scale of the food insecurity in Nigeria's northeast, especially among people displaced by the Boko Haram insurgency? Just how dire is the situation?
Are they figuring out ways to eat, even if those ways are unhealthy, disheartening, and downright inhumane? Is the humanitarian crisis taking a dip that not many people are aware of, that we should all be worried about?
This question holds critical significance due to the escalating factors contributing to food insecurity in the region on a daily basis. There has been significant reduction and, in some instances, complete lack of humanitarian assistance in areas deeply affected by this crisis.
Tunda ya zo da fara takarda wannan ba wani NGO da yake zuwa yake ba mu taimako, da wani muna samu dan wani NGO da yake ba mu taimako dan saboda sun ji labari akan cewa gwamnati ya shiga wajen, dama duk su inda gwamnati ya shiga baki da alhakin da su.
And the inaccessibility of farmlands in certain areas because of the presence of terror groups and their violent activities has exacerbated the situation further. And one of the critical factors also is the climate change. We see the effect of climate change on these displaced communities having multiple dimensions. For example, these communities were resettled, but they don't know that they need another methodology for farming practices. They don't know that they need to plant certain crops at a particular time because of the irregularities of rainfall patterns, because of the drought encroachment in their areas, and most important also, the security regulations imposed on their farmlands. Most of them are not allowed to farm certain particular crops. They are not allowed to plant crops that grow higher. They are only allowed to plant crops that are on ground, shorter crops.
Gashi ba noma ma gashi nan ma yanzu ba dama mu nome abin da zai kaman abubuwa masu girma din nan, muna tsoro mutum yana cikin gona ba ka san abin da zai zo ya same ka ba. Dole ne mu yi noman wake da su gyada da sauransu, da kuma wannan din ba zai ciyar da mutane ba.
So it's going to be a period of food crisis, we like it or not, because of the drought that we experience, because of the changing climate.
At HumAngle, we have done some work to research the real-life implications of these. We found that the human mind will do unthinkable things to sustain the body with food, which is not groundbreaking knowledge, admittedly, but we also found what some of those things are. In February, HumAngle visited the Muna Garage displacement camp in Maiduguri. There, some of the women told us that their only source of food was to dig the ground near ant colonies, to scavenge grains that they must now sieve out in several rounds and then boil into a solid pulp. This woman can be seen doing so in this video. She is trying to remove as much sand as possible through the sieve. She is digging up the grains and sand, even as soldier ants surround and climb her legs. This final product is what will feed her family today.
The labor for food should not be this hard for anyone, but it is for Nigeria's displaced people. During a previous visit to the Shuari resettlement site in the same region, we found that the IDPs had resorted to consuming animal feed, locally known as bringamda. It was made of leftover food, which is dried under unsanitary conditions and sold at the market for livestock to feed on. But they would buy them because of how cheap they were compared to actual food, soak them, and eat them.
Akan gamdam da muna samu wannan mun saya so daya inda mata musu ne mana so daya mun ci da safe sai bayan magariba lokacin muna bakasi ba mu da yiwa alhamdulillah amma da mun zo garin nan muna shan wahala.
Honestly, there is high implication because every human being needs complete diet, and a complete diet is the diet that contains all the 4 basic food groups: carbohydrate, protein, oil, fats, vitamins, minerals, and so on. And when you eat kanzo alone of rice and masara, no oil, nothing except salt, honestly you are getting very little because you are only getting the energy. And once the body is always getting energy and using up the stored protein in the body, the person gets lean because bodybuilding food is not there, only energy giving. So we will advise and we will try as much as possible to create awareness that whatever it is or however, let them at least add something to that kanzo so that it will add value to it. So honestly, like what is in the IDP camps, it is really sometimes a sorry situation because we always advocate on provision of foods that provide all the basic nutrients. And so if the mother is taking only kanzo throughout pregnancy, even during pregnancy she will suffer because she doesn't have enough protein in the body to even provide for the baby. And then after delivery, where will the breast come? The breast comes from the protein that she is taking, and if she is taking only kanzo, she cannot even produce a very good milk. So you can see that most of the childbirth we have in IDP camps, most of the children are being born malnourished because the mother has been malnourished throughout pregnancy. She will be malnourished during breastfeeding. She cannot provide enough milk for the baby, and the baby will definitely grow with malnutrition. And the most important aspect of the food that the baby needs at that time, during pregnancy, during growth, is protein. And unfortunately, that is what they lack in the IDP camp. It is really a sorry situation.
I said, in terms of the nutritional value of the food we saw in video, we said the food is for fattening animals, and the animals have different digestive system with us. So it can never, the body of man can never benefit nutritionally from that food they are eating. The nutritional quality is zero.
The impact of climate change and insecurity on displaced communities is really alarming. On many circumstances, several displaced communities that they were resettled, like Ngurusowe and Kirawa, have been facing pressing challenges of insecurity and climate change. They struggle to adjust to the new rainfall patterns. We also see that they are struggling to adapt to the new farming practices in these areas. And we also understand that the security regulation imposed on their farmlands and in their areas is really affecting their food production.
In the past year, we have interviewed dozens of displaced people from the region. Their prayers are usually the same: peace, so they can finally return to their ancestral communities. improve security so they can access farmland without the fear of getting killed or abducted, and in the meantime, humanitarian assistance so they can stay alive.